my agent, or my Hollywood agent, knew Eric Bischoff, and he tried to set up a meeting with me and Eric Bischoff, and he did it by surprise. I didn't even know. I flew in to see him, and he goes, "I got Eric Bischoff upstairs. He just wants to talk to you." And I was like, "I don't want to go to WCW, but I'll, I finally talked me just hearing him out." So we get in the room with Eric Bischoff, and Bischoff says to me, "Tell me how much you want. Name a number, and tell us what your number is, because we can bring you to WCW." And I said, "Well, I want the exact same pay as Hulk Hogan plus 1 penny." And he said, like, he almost fell off his chair, said, "We can't pay you that." And I said, "Well, okay, well, we're done. I'm going. Thanks for the meeting. Nice talking to you." And I remember I walked out, I tried to leave, and he's like, "Come on." He goes, "Give me something. Tell me how much give me a number I can take back to Ted Turner, anything." And anyway, so finally it was like, I remember like throwing out I think I threw out $3 million. And he goes, same thing, he almost fainted. And I said, "Well, I left and went home." Anyway, long story short, he called me the next day, and they basically offered me the $3 million. They offered me 2.8 plus royalties. And actually, they offered me 2.5 plus royalties, which is about $500,000. So it was a pretty good deal. And then I had to think about it, because I wasn't making that much money with Vince in that sense. And Vince had his new champion and all that. It's like, it was a pretty good time for me to think about leaving. And before I even knew it, I already got a call from Vince saying, "I heard you've already signed. You appreciate it if you give me a call. I've heard you already signed with WCW." And I called him back. I said, "I would never sign. I would never do something like that without talking to you first." I said, "But they did offer me $3 million, and I have to think about it, because it's a lot of money. And, I'm in this business for my family and my kids, not for any other reason. And for my future, it might make more sense to take that offer." I said, "But I'll think about it." So they had me fly down to, Vince actually flew up to Connecticut. No, I'm sorry, he flew up from Connecticut to try to negotiate with me. And we still never really nailed anything down. They flew me all the way down to Connecticut, which is kind of an interesting time. I flew down in about July of that year, and and they flew me up, and I went up to the Titan Towers, the big office in Connecticut there in Stamford. And I met with Jim Ross, Vince, I can't remember who else was there, but all the top people that Vince has got. And they said, basically, what do you want to do? You can do anything you want. How do you want to come back? How are you? Like, they were going to make everything for me. And I came up with this idea about wrestling Shawn. I said, because the whole thing about WrestleMania 12 was that I refused to shake Shawn's hand at the end of the match on purpose. And Shawn knew that, and I knew that. Wasn't an intentional snub, like to piss him off or anything. I just told him, I said, "We're going to come back." I said, "I'm going to go home and act like I'm really mad about the decision that Gorilla Monsoon suddenly made overtime for a match that was a 60-minute match." I said, "It gives me a great out, and I have a great reason to be pissed off." And so I the whole handshake thing where I didn't shake his hand, it was huge. I mean, all the wrestlers in the dressing room thought it was real. Like, they all thought I was so mad at Shawn that I wouldn't shake his hand. And I remember Owen called me the next day. He goes, "Everyone thinks that, you wouldn't shake his hand and all that stuff." And I go, "Good, leave it that way. Let him think that there's a lot of bad blood between me and Shawn, because there isn't."